Dave Palumbo with an RX Muscle News update. This just in, Antoine Vaillant has won the Cal Pro and will be going to the Olympia in December. Congratulations. What a great comeback story this is. Antoine, what a promising young career he had when he first started out as a teen. People were talking about this guy as the next Mr. Olympia, the next coming of a great bodybuilder. He had classic lines and tremendous size at such a young age. At some point, he got sidetracked, by his own admission. He got involved with drugs, and he actually became homeless and had no money. He really hit rock bottom in a sense. He talked about that on one of the interviews I did with him, and he's done it on many interviews. He's talked about how, he went about as low as you can go. He was as high as he can go, and then he went as low as he can go. And then he decided, that's it, I had enough. He cleaned out, made the comeback 2 years ago successfully. I think a lot of people said, hey, this was a great comeback. Last year was supposed to be his year to really make his mark. He tore his bicep, a couple of weeks out from one of the shows he was preparing for. Big setback for Antoine, but he seemed mentally strong. He got through it. This year, obviously, was the comeback at the New York Pro last weekend. And you know what? Some people thought it was a great comeback. Some people thought it was not a great comeback. I thought I saw a flash of brilliance in Antoine. To me, it looked like he was very flat at the show. I think that he just maybe overdid it. You look so good. I mean, we saw the pictures on his Instagram leading up to that show. He was looking tremendous. And, sometimes it's too much, and, you just overdo it. I've done it before. All of us have done it. You deplete too much. You don't carb up enough, or you over dehydrate, whatever the case may be. He finished 7th in New York, comes back here to the Cal, which actually took place in Las Vegas this past weekend, obviously, because California is a nightmare with the whole COVID restrictions. They still had to wear masks on stage, as you see, which is kind of like really kind of, it takes away your personality a little bit, but it is what it is. The show did go off. The muscle contest guys, made it happen, and that's the most important thing. Congratulations to those guys and our good friends over there. But Antoine, did not walk through this show easily. Max Charles, who another bodybuilder that a lot of people may have written off, it seems like his conditioning was never showing up the way it needed to be. He just wasn't, bringing the Max Charles we had seen in the past. He had joined forces with Milo Sarcev this year, and they brought a terrific look into New York. Milos thought he should have won. I didn't think he was that good, but I thought that it was one of the better Max Charles we've ever seen. He was full, he was lean, and even his legs looked, pretty good for Max. And they kind of matched his upper body a lot more than they had in the past. And I said, you know what? This is a Max Charles on the comeback trail here. So Max and Antoine went head-to-head at this show, and it was no easy battle. But you know what? Antoine's presentation is so good. He knows how to hit the shots, hit the right angles. He has some kind of a stage savvy that I think, just smells of and gives off the odor of, I'm the winner. And that's important. And that's an intangible that you really can't, quantify on paper, but it is important. And it is ironic that actually Antoine was working with one of the greatest posers of all time, Flex Wheeler, leading up to this show. There's some pictures on his Instagram where him and Flex were joined forces. And Flex, of course, going through his own, trials and tribulations with having to have his foot amputated on the comeback trail. You can see he's got the white beard now. He's in like that beast, attack mode, looking in great shape, maybe some of the best shape of his life right now, and really motivating a lot of people out there who are handicapped and who maybe think that, hey, you know what, I have this terrible thing happen to me, I can't overcome it. Flex is a beacon of light, actually, for these people, and I think that that's great at what he's doing, and it was great that he got to join forces with Antoine. I heard he put him through a brutal 2-hour posing session, and was that the little extra that Antoine needed to beat Max? It might have been. It might have been, and that's what makes it exciting. So good to see Flex Wheeler in action over there and helping out Antoine. And every little bit helps, I always say. And sometimes when it's really close, it's the details that go and really make the difference. But I think it's a victory for Max and for Antoine here, because Max is his best ever. I think Max will definitely get to the Olympia on points, and that's all that really matters. Another great dark horse in this show is On Win. On Win always does the Cal Pro every year, usually when it's in California. Now it was in Vegas, but On is always a top 5 finisher. I think this might be the best On Win we've seen. His presentation is great. He's got great flow to his body. His conditioning is good here. You know, On's knock against him is just not as big as some of these other guys. But you know what? If he plays the size game, he always does terrible because he loses that conditioning and that the lines in his body. He played it right here. Third place, tremendous, finish for him here. I think you got to be thrilled. Patrick Moore, what can we say about him finishing 4th here? Alone, he's the winner. He's got the best conditioning. He's got the best lines. He's got muscle bellies. He's, the next coming, but he's just not big enough. And when you put him next to these other guys in the lineup, you see his flaws in the sense that he just can't stand with them size-wise. And after all, bodybuilding is about building muscle. I think it was a mistake for him not to take the year off and really work on growing. But, he did what he did. He placed well at all these shows. You can't really knock him for it. But, people want to see him win shows. And I think he's going to start winning shows when he adds another 10 pounds of muscle to his body. And I know he can do it. He's still fresh. He's growing. We're going to see a great Patrick Moore next year. I can smell it. I think he should just take his time, put the size on, and then come back to the stage. There's no rush at this point. So congratulations to Patrick Moore, both in New York and now obviously at the Cal Pro here. And finishing in 5th was Eddie Bracamontes, who could be the biggest guy on stage. You know what? With the conditioning he brought and the size he brought, I don't think anyone would complain if he had finished 3rd here, to be honest with you. I think this is a great look for him. No one expected anything. I in my preview, I did highlight him because I know Eddie is always dangerous because he brings ridiculous conditioning to the stage, and he is one of the biggest guys up there. So congratulations to him, but the real pat on the back and the real, I guess we got to hold him up, let him raise his sword up in the air is Antoine Vaillant, because he did it. He delivered. He shut up all the naysayers. I know Chris Aceto was very, critical of him in the New York Pro. Obviously, he came back here and proved him wrong, and that's great. I know we do a little fun video on it. That's cool. Hey, you know what? The press got to be called out when they're wrong. But Antoine, congratulations on a big win here and a huge comeback for you. We'll see you at the Olympia in December, and you should be very proud of yourself. For now, though, I'm Dave Palumbo with an RX Muscle News Update.